Okay, you make a Minecraft world. What's always the very first thing you do? That's right, punch a sheep. Then another, then go stare at the sun, and then drown yourself. And that's the end of the video. Except that there's more. In fact, there's a whole playlist of hours and hours of these videos, and the second one up is just about the same as the last. So, what's up? Why is this player acting so weirdly? Well, this isn't a normal Minecraft playthrough. In fact, it's far from it. The player you see right now is a Japanese YouTuber named Pito. But the twist is that this is his very first time playing Minecraft, and he can't look up anything. He comes in with no knowledge about the game, and if he ever has a problem, he needs to just figure it out. So how long does it take to beat Minecraft without knowing anything about it? I mean, how would you find out what shape to build a nether portal, or how to get to the end, or literally all the steps in between? Well, for a long time, he really doesn't have a clue what he's doing. He spends day after day wandering around, and night after night dying to mobs. But importantly, he is able to slowly learn some basic game mechanics. It takes him hours to learn by scratch how to craft, how blocks work, that he loses his stuff when he dies, and a whole lot more. Plus, while he can't look up help, it's not like he's completely in the dark. The game will show him some unlocked crafting recipes every now and then, and even more crucially, there's the Advancements tab. Essentially a guide on the steps he needs to take to get to the end. Pretty big win. But it still doesn't explain everything. Each tab only gives a real brief description of each step, which will become a bigger problem for him later on. But until then, he still needs to figure out every little game mechanic. And figure out, he does. You see, there's something you gotta understand about Pito. While now he may look like nothing more than a really crappy Minecraft player, he has one key attribute that'll help him succeed. Patience. Throughout the playthrough, and so many times where he reserves every right to rage at the game or easily look up an answer to a problem, he doesn't. He treats his challenge less like an obstacle and more like a learning experience. And it's that mindset that pushes him all the way from discovering crafting tables, to storage, to enchanting, to even building his own permanent base. While it is extremely hard and tedious to learn Minecraft by scratch, it's obviously not impossible. Plus, in the process of figuring things out himself, Pito even gets to naming mobs his own way. He calls creepers cacti, skeleton horsemen bone knights, and silverfish hedgehogs. Yet the biggest test to his patience comes by the time he's ready for the nether. At this point, the guy spent hours and hours and hours and hours on the game. He's got a base, resources, a general understanding of a lot of game mechanics, but he still doesn't know how to make a nether portal. For the longest time, Minecraft's achievements tab has come in clutch for guiding him to beating the dragon. It led him down the path for upgrading tools, getting a shield, and learning enchanting. But the Japanese translation for the portal achievement really screws him over. The wording of it doesn't clearly make a distinction on whether or not the portal is crafted or constructed. And in one of the only times throughout the series where Pito gets outside help, he gets a friend to tell him that the portal is indeed constructed. So where would you go from there? Like, put yourself into this guy's shoes. How would you know what shape the portal is? You don't. Pito has to start off with trial and error. He builds this shape, doesn't work, builds that, doesn't work, builds these things, and they don't work either. Since the other shapes didn't work, he decides to build the portal based off of other structures in the game. One of them being designed off of a desert well structure, but still, no luck. At this point he spent days and who knows how much obsidian testing out different portal shapes. For all he knows, he could go on for ages guessing the right portal shape, or he may never guess it. Maybe it'd just be easier to call it quits. Look it up. Oh, there we go.
Oh! できたできた
It's this section of his playthrough that may be one of the most influential parts. Not so much for the series, but for Minecraft itself. It's been confirmed that a couple of Mojang developers saw his videos, and it gave them quite a bit of insight for what changes to make to the game. While I can't prove it, I have a sneaking little suspicion that because Mojang developers realized how hard it was to know how to build the nether portal, it may be the reason why they even added ruined portals to the game, as a sort of guide for newbies. But by the time Pito had gotten his Eyes of Ender and made his way to the stronghold, he had a problem. He didn't know how to light the end portal. He didn't infer from the already filled portal frames that he was supposed to put eyes in to light them. He went to check the Advancements tab. No luck, doesn't say what items to light the portal. So back to trusty old trial and error. Attempt 1, just jump in. Nope. Attempt 2, flint and steel. Attempt 3, Eye of Ender. Yes, he threw it. He threw the Eye of Ender. I gotta say, it's a lot of fun watching someone learn this game from scratch. Attempt 4, End Crystal. Yeah, no luck. Rapid fire. Magma cream, blaze powder, wither skeleton skull, Eye of Ender again. Oh!
あ入った
Hey, he did it. Let's go. Now, on the final stretch of the game, Pito enters the end, prepared with the finest of tools, the sharpest of weapons, the accumulation of countless hours of knowledge.
あうわ落ちたうっそ
But While the dragon may have won the battle, Piropito will win the war. He goes again and dies, then again and dies, and I couldn't count how many times this man went into the end facing death head on. But attempt after attempt, he learns how the dragon works. He realizes that no matter how much damage he inflicts on the dragon, if the end crystals aren't destroyed, they will always regenerate the dragon's lost health. So destroying he gets to. And at this point, I was so used to seeing Piropito take the hardest route to victory that when I saw him just brute force slap the end crystals at point blank, I was like, yeah, that's the way to do it. Once the end crystals were taken care of, it was a pretty typical end fight, nothing too crazy. Piropito taking shots at the ender dragon, you know how it goes. By now, it was only a matter of time before Piropito finally beat the game.
倒した倒したやった
So, how long did it take for Piropito to beat Minecraft? Well, just 80 episodes, hundreds of hours of total gameplay, and about 3 metric tons of patience. All to learn almost the entirety of Minecraft from scratch.